Hey, welcome to Guitar Dojo. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you your 7th chords. Once you have a few things memorized, you should be able to play in any key and never go out of tune. Most people start by learning their pentatonic scale. Let me show you how this pentatonic scale works. 2 things you got to remember. Your first finger is for minor, and then your pinky is for major. This is the only scale that has both your major and your minor root notes on the top. As long as you know the notes on your 6th string, you can play and solo in any key. If I put my first finger on A, I'm playing in A minor. If I want to play in A major, I put my pinky on A. Another example, if I want to play in E minor, I place my first finger on the 12th fret. If I want to play in E major, put my pinky on the 12th fret. So this same pattern is your major scale and your minor scale, depending on where you put your first finger or your pinky. Now the pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale, which comes from the major scale. So looking at the major scale, you can see that you only add a few notes. And you have a major scale. If I start on my A, I have my minor scale. Same exact pattern, it just depends on where you start. So the first thing I want you to do is memorize these 2 scale patterns. You have your pentatonic. Right on top of that, you have the major scale. This is important because I'm going to show you how to place your chords within these scales so that way you can use everything you've learned so far with soloing. If you learn any blues licks or soloing techniques using your pentatonic scale or major scale, then you can apply this to chords and never go out of tune. One thing you want to keep in mind is these patterns are movable. So anywhere you move them, you're going to have a different scale. You can move these anywhere and go through the same process. We're going to learn these concepts in the key of C, but these are going to work anywhere. All of your keys work the same. So when you're done memorizing your scale patterns, memorize your chord order. This is going to be the same for every key. 1 is a major, 2 is a minor, 3 is a minor, 4 is a major, 5 is a dominant, 6 is a minor, and 7th is a diminished. This is so you'll know where your chords belong within the scale pattern. This will also help you understand how progressions work. Progressions tell you what chords to play in what order. It's not telling you a rhythm. Tempo is just telling you your 1 chord, then your 6 chord, then your 2 chord, then your 5 chord. Once you have a chord progression, it's going to sound the same in any key. Different notes, but same sound quality. For instance, in the key of C, I play my 1, 6, 2, and then 5. If I bring that up to a D and play the 1, 6, 2, 5, it has that same quality. If I play my open chords, my C, 1, A minor, 6, D minor, and then G. So memorize your pentatonic and your major scale. Memorize this chord order. This should help you understand what a progression is, right? So memorize these numbers and their qualities, which is major, minor, dominant, diminished. Now we have different progressions, like that's a pop progression, then we have your jazz progression, and then you need to learn the blues progression, but it's your 1, 4, 5. Once you have that major scale memorized, then you can learn where your chords belong within your scale and never go out of tune. So right away you should be able to see we have the same pattern. 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, which is A, B, C, D, E, F. Then all we have to do is add the 3rd fret and the 10th fret. 3, 5, 7, 8, 10. 3, 5, 7, 8, 10. So here's what that looks like on your fretboard. We have G, A, B, C, D, then C, D, E, F, G. Here's the same pattern, just replacing them with their numbers. So you really want to get under your belt that 1 is a major, 2 is a minor, 3 is a minor, 4 is a major, 5 is a dominant, 6 is a minor, and 7 is a diminished. If I wanted to play my 1, 6, 2, 5, I have my 1, I would apply a major chord. 1 is major. I have my 6, which is a minor chord. I would apply a minor shape to that note. 2 is a minor shape. 5 is a dominant. And that's right within this scale. So if I wanted to play a 2-5-1, I have my 2, 5, 1. This is a movable pattern, so as long as you have this pattern and their numbers memorized, you can move this anywhere on the guitar. This way you can use your pentatonic scale to figure out which key you want to play in, add the notes of the major scale, and then you'll be able to play all of your chords. We're going to concentrate on your 5th and your 6th string rooted 7th chords. There are 7th chords everywhere, but this will give you a foundation with low notes, and you'll be able to play and solo over anything. This will also help you with songwriting and creating your own chord progressions. With your diminished chord, any one of those can be a root note, but I use these 2 shapes. That way I have a 6th string root note and a 5th string root note, just to make it easy. Once you're comfortable with your bar chords and barring in general, your 7th chords will be a piece of cake. With your 5th string bar chords, I've gone over that this is a minor shape. To make that a minor 7, all you have to do is take your pinky off. Now you have a minor 7. From there, if I just raise my middle finger up 1 string and put my pinky on my 2nd string, I have my major 7th chord. And if I take my middle finger off, I have my dominant chord. We have our minor 7th, lift our middle finger, add our pinky, major 7th, take our middle finger off, dominant 7th. Likewise with your 6th string rooted chords, if you know your minor chord, all you have to do to make that a 6th string 7th chord is leave your back fingers there, take your first finger off and put it right above your middle finger. And as you can see here, I am muting out my 5th string and my 1st string. I use my first finger to mute out my 5th string, but I use the back end of my 1st finger to mute out that 1st string as well, so that way I can strum all my strings, but only hit the ones necessary. And this is movable too, so anywhere I go, if I want an A major 7, G major 7, C major 7, it's right there. With your minor 7, you can see that A major chord shape and then doing this. That's not a very comfortable way to play that. Most people play it with their 2nd finger and then use your 2nd finger to mute out your 5th string, and then 3rd finger is gonna bar all 3 of these strings. Then you can lay your ring finger on that 1st string to mute that one out. That's the most common way to play it. As you've seen in some of the other videos, whenever I have 3 strings that I'm covering, I always bar it and do this number. So I play my 7th chord. That makes it a little easier. I can use my pinky to mute out my 1st string. Then we have our 6th string dominant 7th chord. This one was the most awkward for me to be able to land. I still just kind of build it every time. Take the time to memorize these chord shapes. We've gone over the major, minor, and dominant chords, but what to do with your diminished chords. Your diminished chords are kind of awkward. At least your 6th string diminished chord is a little bit awkward. So work on getting that to move. In between each one of these, you can throw a diminished chord in there. You're welcome. So if you have our 5 chord, the next fret diminished, then then 6th chord, next fret diminished, next fret diminished, next fret major. Same thing will work on the 5th string. I have my 1 diminished, my 2 diminished, my 3, 4 diminished, 5. And you see the way they all sound like they go together. All of this happens right through and on top of this major and pentatonic scale. And here's a little pro tip for you. Anywhere you go on your guitar, this is your 1, right below it is your 4, skip a fret, and that's your 5. 1, 4, 5. Let's look at that 1, 4, 5 with our pentatonic scale. Anywhere I go, that's a 1, 4, 5. Within that pentatonic scale, these will be minor chords. Minor, minor, minor. And then if I do it on my major, I have major, major, major. Especially when you're thinking about the blues, that's going to be important because the chords you play underneath that scale are going to determine what that scale sounds like. If I play minor chords, it'll sound like a minor blues. Same shape, but I'm going to put the 1, 4, 5 right here. If I do major chords, now that scale sounds major. So it's important to understand when it comes to that 1, 4, 5 blues pattern that the chords underneath it are going to determine what it sounds like. Minor chords, minor sound. Major chords, major sound. Learning your 7th chords is a great way to expand your chord knowledge and be able to move anywhere on the neck and play in key. You want to learn your shapes, but you don't want to just learn them and not know where they go. Use this, work on it, memorize, memorize, memorize. If you just take that major scale, then you have A, B, C, D, E, F, or 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you only have to move back a whole step either way to have that extra chord. Or if you're at the top, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way you'll have access to your chords no matter where you go. I used to use this to reverse engineer my keys when I wasn't really sure. Like, what chords are in this? This way I can move it wherever. Oh, I'm going to be in G minor. Then I have minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major. And I never have to think about what chords I'm playing. I know the pattern, I know the shapes. I got those under my belt. And then any licks and solos and anything melodic that I've learned, I was able to apply and stay in key the whole time. This will be a good start to understanding how to play in key, how to solo, and how to play the guitar to itself. The progressions are a template for you. It doesn't tell you what rhythm to play. If I wanted to play the 165 and strum it, I can. If I want to apply a reggae beat to that, I can. So a progression doesn't really tell you what you're going to add to it. It just gives you a chord order, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So let's take a look at this whole picture with your famous pentatonic box. You should now be able to play in any key as long as you know the notes on your 6th string. If you want to play in F sharp minor, find F sharp, place that pentatonic scale with your 1st finger. Now you have F sharp minor. Also, you will know that this is a 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you also know the chords that are in F sharp minor. You have minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major. And that's movable. You can move it anywhere. If I want to be in D minor, so I got my 6, my 7, my 1, 2, 3, and I can move that around anywhere. It might be a little confusing because looking at your fretboard, looking at tablature, it looks like dots and lines. I will include this sheet so that way you can look and work on your 7th chords by using these progressions. There are all kinds of progressions. You can look up any song's progressions and do that same thing. But these are some common progressions, but you can use these to really figure out where everything is at within this major and pentatonic scale. At first, this is a little bit confusing. That's because you're making it too hard. It's simple. It's as simple as knowing that pattern and knowing that it's movable. Same thing with your chords. Like if you have a bar chord, that's my major bar chord. The shape doesn't change if I play a G major, an A major, an A sharp major, a B major. It's all the same shape. It's just movable. Same thing with your scale patterns. Once you move that scale, now the rest of the scales move too. We're only using one pattern, but all of your scale patterns are the same. Wherever this one shifts to, the rest of them are going to shift as well. But this way you can have that core. You have your pentatonic that everybody knows. If you don't know your major, add these major notes to it. And then you'll have that completion. You have your pentatonic and your major scale / minor scale, because your major scale is your minor scale, your major pentatonic is your minor pentatonic. Same thing, it just depends on your roots. Remember, your first finger is minor and your pinky is for major. Whatever note you put these on, that's what key you're in. G minor, E major. Every key has a major and a minor key, and they're all the same. Just depends on where you start. Just like that, you can learn your 7th chords and how to play and solo in key anywhere on the neck. When you don't know this, it's going to be confusing. So take your time to work on these. Memorize your 7th chord shapes, memorize where they belong, practice that in this key where you're at. G, A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, F, G, and don't forget your C back here. Learning your 7th chords is gonna open up your fretboard for you. Learning where they're at within your scale is gonna open up your fretboard even more, so that way you can play all your chords in key and solo with all the concepts that you're working on. So one thing you can do is apply some progressions and some of these licks to that, and you'll see that you'll never go out of tune. So in 6 steps, you will be on your way to having a complete understanding of how your fretboard works. If you have any questions after this, please let me know in the comments. I hope this was helpful for you. It did a lot for me and for my students in understanding how to write music and how to really solo and play in key and play the guitar to itself, where you don't need a song. I could just play all these chords, create my own chord progressions, and write songs. If this was helpful for you, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.